Hi, Papel. Um,
What's going on?
so I have a few questions to ask you about
Oh, okay.
your kind of like immigration kind of stuff.
Oh, all right.
Um, Give me a second to compose myself. What is your name?
My name's Joseph Gary, Gary.
Does Baba Ani call you by any different names besides just Joseph?
Calls me Joe. Sometimes she calls me Abdullah.
Does she really?
Yes.
Okay. What country did you come over from?
I'm from Turkey,
Why did
Izmir, Turkey.
you came from where again? Sorry.
Izmir, Turkey.
Okay. Um, why did you come over to the United States?
Well, my father was in NATO and he was stationed in the Army on a base in Izmir, and he met my mother. And after a while, they got married, and after a while, me, and then my father got stationed to the States, and he went ahead, and we stayed in Turkey.
Okay. Um,
Then, what was the question?
what was the question?
Yeah.
Why did you come over to the United States?
Okay, he came to the States, and then we stayed in Turkey, and then he sent for us, and then we went to the United States.
How long did it take for your parents to get married and like everything to be finalized?
Well, I don't believe it took too long for him to get married. A couple months with all the traditional dowries and can I and
You're
everything
breaking
like
up.
that.
Like,
And the government
wait, Papel,
had
Papel.
traditional. Hello,
Technical difficulties. You're breaking up.
am I there now?
Yeah. So just repeat what you said.
Uh, they got married. It took them a couple, probably after they decided 2 or 3 or 4 months, do the paperwork. The government had to okay it, both governments, and then like I said, my father went to the United States, and then they had to clear my mom and myself to come. We left Izmir, Turkey on a ship, and we went to Tripoli, Libya, and then we went to a port in Spain, and then across the Atlantic to New York City. It took probably about a month.
Um,
I was four, I believe, 4 or 5 years old then.
yeah, that was my next question. How like so you're like 4 or 5 years younger, and we live in Ohio right now. How long did you live in New York?
We were there about a month, and then my father came. We came to Ohio on a train to my grandfather's house.
How did you arrive? Like, did you stay with your dad, or did you and your mom go live with relatives?
My father picked us up in New York. We
You're breaking up again.
took train. My father picked us up in New York, and we took a train to Lima, Ohio, I believe it was. And then my grandfather and grandmother picked us up, and we lived at their house for a couple months till my father was discharged from the army.
Okay. Um, what was your experience when you came over for like schools, or did you live on base with your dad?
Well, I never lived on a base. We just lived at grandparents' house. And for school, I started school, and of course, at the age of 5, I knew how to speak Turkish. My mother would talk to me in Turkish, and then I'd go to school, and they'd talk to me in English, just like a kindergarten. You didn't know too much, right?
Yeah.
And so as time went on, I learned more English and less Turkish.
So do you still know like a lot of Turkish? Not like a lot, but do you still know some Turkish?
I do. I know Turkish. I can understand what's being said and reply in not a long sentence type response, but I do understand it.
Do you have a lot of family in the U.S.?
I have my wife, my 2 daughters, and 3 grandchildren, and my mother and 2 brothers.
What do you do for a living?
Operator.
What?
I'm operating engineer. I run an asphalt plant. I manage an asphalt plant.
Did any of your family members do the same thing you do?
No, my father was an electrician. Did you hear that?
Your father was an electrician?
Yes, grandfather was an engineer on a train, and my great grandfather was a
Your great grandfather was a what?
he was a carpenter. He was a carpenter. This was all on my father. On my mother's side, my uncle was actually a train engineer, and my grandfather was a carpenter.
So I know that your dad like served in the military and stuff. Did you ever serve?
I did. I was in the U.S. Air Force for 7 years.
For how many years?
7.
7 years. That's a long time.
7. Yeah, long time. 7 years. I was an air traffic controller.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was different.
It was what?
It was different.
It was different.
Something that you don't think about growing.
Yeah. That's all the questions I have.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
This interview was supposed to be a half hour long.
No.
Am I going to have to talk to my agent?
Probably.